This is how we've been making realistic AI clips in 2025. 2026 changes everything. Let's turn this AI clip into a film. Introducing Higgsfield Cinema Studio 2.0. The gap between AI clips and AI filmmaking just closed. What you just saw isn't about better prompts or stronger models. It's about control. Most AI video tools today are designed to generate clips. They decide the pacing. They decide the camera behavior. They decide how the shot begins and how it ends. Cinema Studio flips that workflow. Instead of fixing randomness in post, you make creative decisions up front, like genre, camera movement, timing, and even how a scene should feel. Cinema Studio is built by Higsfield, a Gen AI company that's clearly focused on creators, not just demos. Their goal is simple: to make AI feel less like a generator and more like a filmmaking tool. Cinema Studio version 1 was about creating strong individual shots. Version 2 takes a big step forward. You can now think in scenes, not clips. You can control motion logic with genres. You can shape timing during generation, not after. And you can keep visual consistency without stitching things together. In this video, I'm not trying to show every feature. Instead, I'll walk you through one action scene and show how much difference direction alone can make. Let me break down exactly how I created both versions, step by step. For the first AI clip, we can use any of the AI models, as Higsfield houses most of the advanced AI models available. For the best results, we import both the first and the last frame of the video. To generate these frames, we first switch the AI model to an image generator. This is where Higsfield becomes really efficient. Everything happens inside the same platform, so there's no need to jump between tools or maintain multiple subscriptions. I'm using the Nano Banana Pro AI image model. For the first frame, this is the prompt I used: a cinematic action scene at dusk in a narrow urban street. A man in the foreground is leaning forward, about to sprint, muscles tense. Ahead of him, another man is running away while clutching a bag. Wet asphalt reflecting streetlights, dramatic urban lighting, realistic action movie still, high-tension moment. The generated image turns out great, exactly as expected. Now let's create the last frame. Here's the prompt: a cinematic wide shot of a city street opening into a larger intersection at night. The thief is far ahead, almost escaping into the crowd, while the pursuer is left behind in the mid-ground. Streetlights stretch into the distance, strong sense of scale, dramatic urban action atmosphere, chase reaching its climax. To keep visual consistency, we use the first frame as a reference. Generate. Now we have both the first and last frames. Download them to your computer and move to the video generator. Next, I'll input the video prompt: a fast-paced street chase at dusk. A thief, the man on the right in the first frame, runs ahead carrying a stolen bag, while a man, the man on the left in the first and last frame, chases from behind and gradually falls farther back. The thief with the bag, the man with the bag in the last frame, eventually disappears into the busy city street crowd. Dynamic handheld follow camera from behind, sharp turns through the street, motion blur, intense action pacing, cinematic lighting, realistic shadows. Kling 3.0 has just been released, and it's easily one of the strongest filmmaking AI tools available right now. So I'll use it here to give this method a fair test. I'll set the duration to 10 seconds. For faster generation, I'll keep the resolution at 720p since higher resolutions take longer. Generate. And there you go, the video is ready. Now let's switch to the newly released Higgsfield Cinema Studio 2.0 and see how to shape this like a real film, using the director-level controls available. First, we are in the image mode to create the first and last frames. We will not change the prompts used before, so let's copy and paste here. Now, in Cinema Studio, I get to make cinematic decisions before anything moves. I'm choosing a full-frame Cine digital camera because I want a clean, modern cinematic look that works well for action. For the lens, I'm going with a premium modern prime. It keeps the image sharp and grounded without stylized distortion. At 35mm, the camera feels close to the action, putting us right inside the chase. And at f4, I get enough background separation to focus on the characters, but still keep the street readable. This frame becomes my visual anchor. Everything flows from here. Now, Cinema Studio 2.0 includes grid image mode, where you can generate multiple variations in grid layouts for faster iteration at the same cost. So instead of generating in batches, save credits in grid mode. As you can see, we have 4 images generated with the prompt. Choose the one you find most suitable. Use it as reference for the end frame generation. For the end frame, I'm still using the same scene idea, but changing intent. I switched to 50mm, which compresses space slightly and makes the distance between the characters feel more dramatic. And with f11, the entire scene stays in focus, so the scale of the environment really comes through. Now I have a clear start and a clear end, and Cinema Studio will handle everything in between. So again, we have 4 variations of the last frame to choose from. This gives us creative freedom without paying 4 times more, like in normal generation modes. And just for clarity, these images are also generated using Nano Banana Pro. I'll choose this frame. Now let's move to video mode. For the first shot, I'll keep things simple. I'll set the duration to 4 seconds. You can choose anywhere between 3 seconds and 12 seconds, depending on your scene. Higgsfield Cinema Studio 2.0 introduces genre selection with a wide range of options. Genres don't just affect the look, they define the mood, pacing, and direction of the film. For the first chase scene, I'm choosing the action genre, so the model prioritizes speed and urgency. I'll leave camera movement set to auto because I want natural chase physics without micromanaging motion. The speed ramp is linear, so the movement feels grounded, like the chase is just beginning. Audio is on. Now I'll input the prompt for the first shot. The man bursts into a sprint, chasing the thief through the narrow street. Camera follows aggressively from behind with strong forward motion, realistic weight, and urgency. I'll add the first frame. Cinema Studio 2.0 also introduces multi-shot auto and multi-shot manual, which give us true cinematic control without forcing everything into one continuous clip. I'll switch this to multi-shot manual. The first shot prompt is now added. Let's move to shot 2 or scene 2. This is where direction really starts to matter. I've added the second prompt. The chase intensifies as both characters turn sharply. Motion briefly accelerates to emphasize urgency, then settles back into controlled action movement. Again, the duration is 4 seconds, the genre stays action, camera movement remains auto. For the speed ramp, I'll switch to impact. This gives me a brief acceleration in the middle of the shot, followed by a sudden slowdown, so I control exactly when the chase feels urgent and when it breathes. Already, this feels far more intentional than direct generation, even though I haven't animated anything manually. Now let's add scene 3. For the final shot, I'll set the duration to 3 seconds and use this prompt. The camera rapidly pulls back, revealing the full scale of the street and the distance between the pursuer and the thief, ending on a dramatic wide shot. Make sure both the first and last frames are added. I'll switch the genre to spectacle. This changes how the model thinks about motion. It now prioritizes scale and cinematic impact. I'll use the speed up preset to exaggerate the pullback and set the camera movement to dolly out. Now the environment opens up, the distance becomes clear, and the scene ends with intention. The video is ready, let's take a look. This lines up perfectly with the end frame I defined earlier. None of this was fixed in post. In fact, it's not even possible to do that here. Every decision, camera, lens, pacing, motion, even performance was made before the video was generated. And that's the real difference between generating clips and directing a scene. Cinema Studio 2.0 introduces elements, which are persistent visual references you can add directly to a scene. An element can be a character, an object, or any item you want the model to remember and respect across shots. Instead of redescribing the same thing in every prompt, you add it once and Cinema Studio keeps it consistent. This makes complex scenes much easier to direct, especially when you're working with multiple shots, changing camera movement, or shifting pacing. I've added this picture of a dog as an element. Since I don't have multiple real photos of the same dog, I generated a few more images using Nano Banana from different angles to help the model understand the character better. Ideally, you want 2 to 3 images of the same element from different views. Next, I give the element a name, so I can easily call it inside my prompts later. You can also add specific descriptions here, like key features to preserve, or things you want the model to ignore. For example, if the character is wearing glasses and you don't want them, you can explicitly tell the model to omit that. Once everything looks good, I click Create. Now, in the Director panel, the element is added to the scene. What's really interesting is that you can also set the mood of the element. And this actually changes the expression and acting of the character. It feels less like prompting and more like directing an actor. Now I describe how I want the element to behave in each shot. In the first scene, the dog runs alongside the man chasing the thief. In the second scene, it continues running beside him as the chase intensifies. And in the final scene, the dog slows down slightly, but stays with the man. As you can see, Tommy the dog is now part of the film, behaving exactly the way I directed. It's running with the chaser, reacting emotionally, even barking as the thief escapes. That's a completely different level of AI filmmaking. And this is where Higgsfield Cinema Studio 2.0 really stands out. With control that feels closer to real cinematography and direction than simple AI generation. Cinema Studio is built on true optical simulation, so shots behave like real cameras, not visual guesses. Before we wrap up, here's a quick high-level takeaway from Higgsfield's official blog. Cinema Studio 2.0 is designed as a professional AI filmmaking environment, not just a video generator. It brings deterministic control to AI video, so instead of unpredictable outputs, you get repeatable, cinematic results. The core idea is simple. Lock the look first, then animate with precision. That's what allows Cinema Studio 2.0 to move AI video from clips to actual filmmaking. That's it for this video. If you want to try Cinema Studio 2.0 yourself, I've added the direct link in the description. I'll see you in the next one!